It's hard not to be impressed by the growth of the XRP Ledger over the last couple months because, again, it's been just an incredible year for both Ripple and even XRP. We think back to just even price action, right? If we're looking at price action, and I know that a lot of you are probably not impressed by it, but for those that have been sticking around, we already know how impressive XRP's growth has been in the last 12 months. I mean, XRP is still up over 400+%. It's been an incredible cycle so far. And in terms of adoption, the amendments, everything happening around the XRP Ledger with the EVM sidechain, the growth here is extremely impressive. And I do think that this is just the beginning. If we actually look over here from Open Eden, we do have big month for Ripple's XRP Ledger as its RWA value surged by 32.27% and DeFi TVL jumped 19%. Amid this momentum, Open Eden is proud to be #1 on the XRP Ledger RWA league table for highest growth in the past 30 days. Institutional grade RWA tokenization is on the rise, and we're leading the charge. And yeah, listen, when we think about what's been happening here, there's been a lot of great news coming out from, big names regarding tokenization. I feel like we're kind of getting caught up in this short-term view of, oh, well, we're only at this amount of money on chain right now, but we're not really thinking about the forward path for tokenization. Once things get turbocharged, and what I mean by that is once we get clarity for the tokenization market, which we know is on its way from the SEC, these things are going to change and go into overdrive in a very, very fast way because, again, once the market has that clarity, nothing is holding back institutional players diving on in, tokenizing. Right now, we're seeing billions. We could see trillions of dollars hitting these networks very, very fast. Now, talking about that, just taking a quick look at growth for the XRP Ledger, we're up almost 30% in the last 30 days. It's like 23.43% in the last 30 days. 306, almost $307 million. Stablecoin market cap up 56% in the last 30 days as well. So again, the growth here for XRP has been very, very exciting to watch. And just taking a quick look at the top 30-day gainers, Open Eden is up 274%. Just taking a quick look at those T-bills real quick, we could see, I wish that there was a way to look at this from the network view. I mean, you could kind of see it, right? In terms of XRP, it's in green here. We started to see that big spike happen in the beginning of August. So, so far right now, very good growth from Open Eden. And I also think a lot of these other values are going to grow as well, especially with a lot more tokenization moves to be yet to announced on XRP. Again, we know that there's going to be a lot more tokenization announcements coming soon, especially with Ripple Swell on its way. I think that that's probably one of the biggest events to look forward to because just like back in 2024 and 2023 and 2022, we witnessed some big announcements at this event. So Ripple Swell is one to mark on the calendar, and I do think that that's going to lead to even more adoption of the XRP Ledger around tokenization moves. Now, regarding that, let's actually talk about this recent article from Ripple, which was the future of $18.9 trillion in tokenized assets by 2033 depends on a crucial factor: institutional grade custody, which Ripple already has solved. Explore 5 key takeaways from the Blockchain Association of Singapore Custody Workshop on what technological requirements are shaping finance: compliance by design, flexible custody models, operational resilience, strong governance, scaling stablecoin adoption. All of these go hand in hand with what's happening around this almost $19 trillion market. And when we think about that, right, let's dive on in. So number one, as digital finance continues to mature, the role of digital asset custody is rapidly becoming a core layer of financial infrastructure. Custody now underpins key use cases such as stablecoin issuance, cross-border payments, and tokenized RWAs. As adoption accelerates, enterprises need a custody solution that is secure, scalable, and compliant with evolving regulatory requirements. All of this places greater scrutiny on custody as a foundational component of the digital asset ecosystem, which was the focus of the Ripple and Blockchain Association of Singapore Custody Workshop earlier this month. Now, Why digital asset custody matters. Custody is the crucial entry point for institutions that want to engage in the digital asset economy. It provides the infrastructure needed to mitigate risk, ensure regulatory compliance, and enable new business models. Demand is rapidly increasing, driven by the projected growth of tokenized RWAs, which are expected to reach nearly $18.9 trillion by 2033, according to a recent report by Ripple and Boston Consulting Group. Ripple's 2025 New Value Report highlights growing institutional momentum around digital asset adoption. The report found that 71% of financial institutions and enterprises in APAC have grown more confident in digital assets over the past 6 months. While only 30% of firms currently use custody solutions, an additional 52% plan to adopt them within the next 3 years. And by the way, yeah, this is a big thing to focus on because 71% of institutional players and enterprises in APAC have grown more confident in digital assets. Like, that's a huge stat to focus on because, again, this is telling us that institutional and enterprise grade adoption is only going to grow from here on out. The 5 key takeaways from this workshop. Now, right off the rip, we have adopt a compliance by design approach to custody infrastructure. This kind of just breaks down how, like what's needed, if you will. Like, these are the key things to consider. Choose the right custody model for your business needs. Operational resilience is critical to custody infrastructure. Strong governance is essential for institutional trust. Custody is key to scaling stablecoin adoption, which, by the way, this is like the biggest thing around even tokenization. When we think about tokenization itself, custody is crucial for all of this. So when we think about what's coming and what's happening here, we look at this looking ahead page. The workshop underlined the importance of digital asset custody as a cornerstone of institutional trust and digital asset adoption. As use cases expand and regulatory expectations grow, custody infrastructure will need to be resilient, transparent, and adaptable. Solutions that meet these needs, whether through self-custody, third-party providers, or hybrid models, will enable the next phase of stablecoin adoption, tokenized finance, and cross-border settlement. Ripple Custody, for an example, is designed to support institutions in securely managing tokenized assets while enabling regulatory compliance, operational flexibility, and enterprise scale integration. In the next phase, custody infrastructure will also need to integrate more deeply with smart contracts and tokenized documents tied to off-chain conditions. This will be important not only for programmable payments, but also for enabling full on-chain execution of trade flows, conditional settlement, and automated compliance processes. These capabilities will help lay the foundation for a digital financial system that is scalable, interoperable, and fit for the new era of finance. And yes, this is all a part of the big infrastructure piece that Ripple is becoming. When we think about that puzzle, we look at everything. We look at tokenization, right? When we're looking at tokenization from Ripple, we specifically know that XRP is a part of this in a huge way. In fact, XRP is crucial. It's the crucial piece for tokenization from Ripple's side. It has that built-in DEX. It has everything tied to it that can support tokenization at scale. Even the use cases around tokenization, like institutional DeFi. All of this is a part of the big plan. Ripple is creating that core infrastructure. It has everything needed for this to become a reality on the XRP Ledger. We look at Ripple Custody. We look at the stablecoin. We look at, everything that Ripple has created in the last 10 plus years. It's all for this moment. So when we think about that, combined with everything that's been announced over the last couple of weeks, it's extremely bullish for XRP. For an example, we look at what's been happening since roughly the beginning of the summer. Let's just go back to June 10th. This was the first announcement that we got. Apex 2025 digital commercial paper, DCP, is now live on the XRP Ledger, administered by Guggenheim Treasury Services, one of the largest independent commercial paper platform managers in the world, empowered by its economy. With 280 million plus in issuance, DCP is the first native digital commercial paper on the XRP Ledger, bringing a fixed income asset secured by US Treasuries and rated Prime 1 by Moody's. Let's go back to the XRP Ledger real quick. How much value is tied to XRP from Guggenheim right now? Well, its economy, only about 10 million. Guys, this is nothing compared to where that value is headed. This is just the start. Also, another big one, June 11th. Tokenized US Treasuries are now live on the XRP Ledger. This is with Ondo Finance's OUSG, backed by BlackRock's Build Fund. Unlocks 24/7 institutional access, mintable and redeemable using ROUSD. How much value is tied to that? Well, OUSG, $30+ million. Again, just the start. Then we got another big one. Again, July 4th, in one of LATAM's largest tokenization efforts to date, Mercado Bitcoin is bringing over $200 million in real-world assets on-chain to the XRP Ledger, including fixed income and equity income instruments. The assets will connect to a network trusted by more than 70 central banks and financial institutions. Last time I checked, when we go over here, guess what? That value has yet to hit the XRP Ledger. This is why I keep saying, think back to all of the announcements that we saw this year. Most of those announcements have yet to hit the network. Most of those announcements have yet to even show up. That's extremely bullish to think about because, again, we know these values will soon be on the XRP Ledger. Also, July 16th, Reese Merrick, I'm excited to announce our partnership with Control Alt, which is a game-changing partnership. Control Alt will be utilizing Ripple's top-tier digital asset custody tech to power the Dubai Land Department's real estate tokenization project. How much value is tied to this? Well, let's look. Here's all of those real estate asset classes, aka the tokenized value on the XRP Ledger. We can see a few of them, right? 476,000, 500,000, 435,000, 408,000, 1 million, almost 820,000 roughly, 654,000. Guys, these values are very significant, and it's just the start. And if you thought that that was it, again, here's the Vert announcement. $130 million. This is issued on the XRP Ledger. This was another big announcement on July 23rd. That value is now on the XRP Ledger. We could see it. Let's just go back real quick to the total value. Here we have Vert, 61 million. We have yet to actually see it fully hit the ledger yet, I think. Yeah, so that's the only one from Vert. Again, this is a $130 million deal. So we still have a lot more money to be released here because currently speaking, the only amount that we have is about 116 million. So we still need a little bit more to be issued out on the XRP Ledger, but this is just an incredible start. And with everything that Ripple is doing here, and with what we are seeing from Ripple and all of these announcements from these events, it's very clear that Ripple wants to be that institutional infrastructure for the future tokenized and digital economy. This is right on par with the Internet of Value move. XRP is the crucial piece here. So this is extremely bullish, $18.9 trillion. I do think that this really blossoms into 100 trillion over time. It's going to take a lot of time, obviously, but 8 years out, 18.9 trillion total value right now on chain for tokenized RWAs, 14.63 billion. This is starting to spike up in a larger way. I'm really looking forward to seeing a big push where we start to see a step function here that takes us from 15 billion to 30 billion. That would be huge, right? Just imagine seeing the total RWA value on chain skyrocket by 2x. That could happen. All it takes is one big tokenization move that could easily skyrocket the value. And I think that it happens with clarity for tokenization in the US. Because again, institutional players are extremely eager to jump behind tokenization in a huge way. So I'm very excited about the future for Ripple and even XRP. It's been an incredible year already. The value on chain is only growing. And I do think that we have a lot more to look forward to for the remainder of this year and going forward as well in time. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because I'm free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, this has been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.